For my final major project, I was asked to create a piece of media based around the theme of identity. The idea of the project was for it to reach an audience and help them learn something. From brainstorming ideas, I decided I would create a documentary based on the idea of female identity in the media. I decided to do this because it's a topic that has never been shown, because the media is not going to portray itself in a bad light. I also know a lot about this topic, so it was a chance for me to pass my knowledge on to others. I wanted to portray it in a documentary as it would be challenging for me to create a documentary. I hope to achieve an informative documentary that was interesting and reached my target audience. Research was a large proportion of the time frame we were given. Research was important to conduct so that we were fully prepared for the creation of our final major projects. It helped me scope out my target audience and look further into things that could possibly go right or wrong within my documentary. One prime example of research being useful to me would be information gathered from surveys and focus groups about my target audience. The information that I gathered showed me that my main target audience would be females, and from the age range of 18 to 30, as anyone older was not particularly interested. My surveys and focus groups allowed me to discover the types of topics I need to focus on within my documentaries. These included stereotypes within the media and how high up figures are able to get away with sexism. This research was useful because I knew what to include and how not to bore my audience. The market was also a section of research that helped me. It gave me the chance to see what else is out there that is similar or along the same basis and pick which one I wanted mine to be like and how to set this out. It highlighted to me that some documentaries that are already out there concentrate highly on dramatisations rather than sitting down with people and asking them questions. The market research allowed me the chance to see whether or not someone had taken the same angle as me. It showed me that my documentary would be successful because people had done something similar and had good results. The production requirements helped me as it showed me other things I would have never considered during my process of creation. It allowed me to consider ethical barriers such as permission for filming on location and filming people. I discovered that I needed to consider health and safety issues, equipment needed, and possible crew to make my documentary as successful as possible. This section of research helped me, as without it I would have not used consent forms and there wouldn't have been permission to have anyone in my documentary. The professional practice allowed me to look further into someone's career and the issues they may have on a day-to-day basis. The most important information I took away with me is that I have to have excellent communication and have a backup plan or think on my feet if anything goes wrong. This part of the research helped me, as when my work got lost and I had to change from a documentary into a digital magazine, I was able to do this and think on my feet quickly. It gave me the skills to be able to turn a difficult situation into a good one. Overall, it was very useful to conduct research. It allowed me to see possible issues and even learn more about the topics I wished to research, so my articles were well-rounded and informative. If I could do anything different, it would be look more in depth at different topics. The production phase is where I faced my most difficulties. As I intended to do a documentary at the start, this is what I created for the first 3 weeks. However, on the 4th weeks of production, when I logged in, my work was completely lost. This included 6 minutes out of 10 of edited work, 6 interviews and all archived footage. This put me in a difficult position as I only had 2 weeks left of production and this would not be enough time to create a 10-minute documentary. After talking to Lewis, we decided it would be the best to create a digital magazine instead, as I could create podcasts quickly and we were able to get some of the interviews back from the hard drive. I would also be able to write articles fast. My new aim was to create a 15-page digital magazine. This overall was the biggest problem I encountered. Overall, I was very happy with my final project. I managed to create a 17-page digital magazine that included 2 podcasts and 2 vidcasts. I also managed to complete my work on time and with some time to spare. And with the spare time, I created a social media page. I'm very happy with my final project as all the multimedia links worked, and I think my writing is some of the best I've done, especially as I looked at angles I wouldn't have normally have. If I could improve my work, I would have added more podcast interviews and more vidcasts. However, a large reason I didn't was due to time, so with more time I can make it more interactive. I achieved my goals as I reached out to my target audience and talk about all the topics they wished. I was also able to produce a fair amount of pages. If I could start again, I'd be more careful with saving and save things more frequently and in more places, not just 2 on the same places on the same computer. My personal strengths were persevering and carrying on even though my work got lost. However, my weaknesses would be being stubborn and wanting to do things my way and maybe not always considering other routes. Overall, I'm very happy with my final major project. For my product testing, I created a survey on SurveyMonkey. I did this as it was easy to access. I had 10 responses for my survey and they were all good responses with serious answers. I asked a mixture of open and closed questions to get statistics and people's opinions. For my first question, I found that 9 out of 10 people liked my front cover. I was happy with this because it showed it drew people in. People said that the popper colour drew them in, but others said it had too much writing. I also found out that everyone liked the layout of my article page. The reasons ranged from because it was well laid out and 2, it was aesthetically pleasing. 9 people said my advert did fit the theme of my magazine, which is female representation, and 1 said it did not. Overall, people tended to like my magazine. When I asked for constructive criticism, some people said they couldn't think of one. One that stood out to me was that someone said to change the wording of the advert, which is of course out of my hands. Product testing was useful because it showed me that what worked and what didn't, and what to consider when adding in the rest of my pages, such as if it had too much writing or not enough colour. I didn't make any changes to my magazine, but as I said before, it did make me change my other pages that I were about to put in. For example, I used the same layout for my article pages because people liked the way it was set out. I also couldn't change the things they had suggested, such as advertisement wording. I chose to exhibit my work by having the market poster on the table, an iPad with my interactive magazine on it so people could read and interact with. I also had a laptop that had a feminism video on it that I had created. I interacted with people who came to look at my work by getting them to colour in or draw outfits on cutout men and women to see if they gender stereotyped them based on the shape of the cutout. The feedback I received on the work was that it was well presented and it was clear that it was something I was very passionate about. People told me to take it further by looking at different countries such as third world countries, and everyone gave me the feedback to carry on what I was doing and stand up for what I believe in. I really enjoyed the exhibition because it showed me that all the hard work I had put in was effective and people actually enjoyed it. It was good to know that everything you're so passionate about is appreciated. Overall, throughout the course of the project, I have learned how to work hard towards an end goal and create a quality piece of work. Although I didn't originally achieve my goal or challenge of creating a documentary, I overcame barriers and in the end still hit a new set goal. I've learned that I am very passionate and that this is a good strength because I'm willing to always persevere for something I believe in. However, I can be stubborn. In the future, I will save my work in multiple places and try not to let stress get in the way of me continuing my work.